I don't just tell black secrets. I tell white secrets too, because we all family. They don't lie to some of us, they lie to
Big deviance is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them, every...
Katt Williams has never been the kind of man to bite his tongue. And that's exactly what keeps Hollywood trembling. From tearing up comedy stages in the early 2000s to dropping jaw-dropping truths in viral interviews today, Katt turned his career into a full-blown crusade against the industry's dark side. He's not just a comedian cracking jokes, he's a fearless truth-teller pulling back the curtain on what really goes down behind those bright lights. Every time he speaks, someone in power starts sweating, because Katt doesn't just expose the lies, he names names, calls out hypocrisy, and walks straight into the chaos with no fear. Katt Williams' feuds with big names like Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and Kevin Hart didn't just make headlines. They exploded into cultural firestorms. Every time he called out one of Hollywood's untouchables, fans and critics couldn't stop debating whether he was crazy or just brave enough to say what everyone else was thinking. His refusal to bend, bow, or play by their rules made him both admired and attacked, a rebel the industry couldn't control. But how did it all start? When Katt Williams burst onto the scene, he wasn't just another comic trying to be funny. He was electric. With that slick perm, tailored suits, and a voice that could switch from smooth to sharp in seconds, he owned every stage he touched. He didn't just tell jokes, he flipped real life into comedy gold, turning struggle into punchlines that hit deep.
To have a conversation that's not being had. And I'm really sorry that these conversations are being had by a comedian. I wish too that it was a religious leader of some kind having this conversation.
Yet even in those early laughs, Katt was doing more than entertaining. Behind the glamour and flash, he was quietly building his own lane, one rooted in raw truth and fearless honesty. Unlike most comedians begging for Hollywood's acceptance, he didn't care about shaking hands with elites or smiling for fake cameras. He wanted to expose what was happening behind the curtains. The manipulation, the exploitation, the secrets nobody dared to mention. By the mid-2000s, Katt's name wasn't just associated with comedy anymore, it was synonymous with truth-telling. He became the loud voice for those who saw through the glitter, daring to challenge a system built on silence and control. And that's exactly what made him dangerous and unforgettable. Katt Williams has never held back when it comes to calling out Hollywood's dark side, especially how it treats black artists. He straight up accused the industry of exploiting talent while rewarding the ones who play nice and punishing anyone who dares to stand their ground. He said it loud and clear. The system doesn't love honesty, it loves obedience. And if you don't bow down, they'll make sure your career starts crumbling right in front of you. In interview after interview, Katt claimed he's seen things the average fan could never imagine. Insider politics, secret deals, and powerful gatekeepers controlling who shines and who gets shut out. According to him, fame in Hollywood isn't about talent, it's about who's willing to play the game. He even suggested there are certain circles that quietly decide who gets a spotlight and who's blacklisted forever. When he spoke on stage, his words cut through the laughter like a blade. It wasn't just comedy, it was a warning. You could feel the crowd freeze mid-laugh when his jokes suddenly turned into uncomfortable truths. They're laughing now, he once hinted, but they'll see what I mean soon enough. That mix of humor and hard reality.
You are not going to get a black man, a real black man, to agree to do this to another black man.
Made his performances unforgettable. And what did Hollywood do in response? Instead of addressing his accusations, the media painted him as unstable, difficult, and controversial, twisting his truth into tabloid headlines. They turned his whistleblowing into chaos, making it seem like he was spiraling instead of speaking facts. But those who really listened, those who understood, knew he wasn't crazy at all. He was calling out a system built to break voices like his, and he refused to let them silence him. When Saturday Night Live started parodying Katt Williams over and over, it wasn't just a joke to him. It felt like a hit job. They exaggerated everything, his voice, his clothes, his swagger, turning his signature style into a full-blown caricature. To most viewers, it looked like harmless fun, but to Katt, it was something deeper. He saw it as Hollywood's way of mocking him publicly, trying to make him look like a clown so people would stop taking his words seriously. He believed those skits were designed to tear down his credibility and drown out the truth he'd been screaming about for years. Then came the celebrity clashes that made even more noise. Katt went straight for the heavyweights, and no one was safe. He accused Steve Harvey of stealing jokes from fellow comedian Mark Curry, and that allegation sent shockwaves through the comedy world. Katt claimed Harvey was too focused on building his TV empire to care about creativity or respect for real talent. He called him out for being fake, saying Steve wanted to be Hollywood's favorite rather than the people's voice. The industry was stunned. Who else had the guts to publicly call out legends like that? Katt made it clear that he didn't care about Hollywood's hierarchy or who he offended. To him, truth came before fame, and integrity mattered more than industry approval. Every shot he took at powerful names made him even more unpredictable. And that's exactly what terrified them. There's no official proof tying Oprah to any kind of Hollywood control network, but the way Katt Williams told it, the signs were all there. He painted her as part of a powerful machine built to silence anyone who dared to challenge the system. And surprisingly, a lot of fans online started echoing his words, digging up interviews, clips, and old industry moments that made people start connecting dots. Social media exploded with arguments. Some saying Katt was finally exposing what others were too scared to mention, while others claimed he was just stirring up more controversy to keep his name buzzing.
And tried to put me in my first dress. You know, we get in that office and this fool pull out Big Mama's house too. I almost died. All I did was say, I want to punch it up so it's not offensive to real.
Either way, he had people talking nonstop. Then came his explosive feud with Tyler Perry. And this one got personal. Katt didn't sugarcoat a thing when he went after Perry's casting choices and how he ran his productions. He straight up accused Perry of running his empire through favoritism and secret backroom deals, locking out talented black actors who refused to play the game. He said Hollywood loved Perry because he kept control tight, never letting anyone threaten his position or his image. In one unforgettable moment, during a joint appearance with actor Terrence Howard, Katt boldly claimed that Perry's insecurities were the real reason he held others back. He said Perry's success came at a heavy cost, that he deliberately kept rising actors in the shadows just to maintain his dominance. Fans were divided. Some reminded everyone that Perry had created opportunities for countless black artists and opened doors where others hadn't, but Katt didn't budge. He argued that those doors came with strings attached, that the price of fame under Perry's empire was too high. The feud with Kevin Hart, however, was the one that kept bubbling back to the surface, refusing to die. Katt Williams didn't hold back, repeatedly accusing Hart of swooping in and taking movie roles that were originally meant for him. But Katt went deeper than just career jealousy. He argued that Hart wasn't just a comedian climbing the ladder. He was a Hollywood-approved gatekeeper, the face of a safe, sanitized version of black comedy that the industry could control. According to Williams, Hart's rise wasn't about talent alone. It was carefully engineered, a product of the system itself, designed to keep authentic voices like his own pushed to the sidelines. Williams claimed that every time Hart got a major role, it wasn't just a win for him. It was a loss for originality. He painted a picture of Hollywood as a place where conformity and smiles were rewarded, while truth and edge were punished. Every successful role Hart landed in Williams' eyes highlighted how the industry protected its own image, and those willing to play the part of the safe star. Hart did eventually respond, but he downplayed the attacks, treating Katt's words as more entertainment than serious critique. Speaking to the press, Hart shrugged off the feud, insisting he was happy with his career and had no interest in turning public spats into headlines. To Hart, it was noise, just background chatter that didn't matter. Every feud Katt Williams took on pointed to the same thing, him versus the Hollywood machine. Whether it was Oprah allegedly pulling strings behind the scenes, Tyler Perry running his empire like a tightly locked fortress, or Kevin Hart being the safe gatekeeper of black comedy, Katt saw himself as the lone truth teller daring to expose it all.
No Halloween costumes. Hey kids, please. Mama sent us down to the liquor store, put boxes on us.
Every Halloween, I had the same outfit on. Every year. I just had a brown box.
And the louder he spoke, the more eyes in Hollywood began to shift nervously, wondering just how far he was willing to go. The industry started realizing that this wasn't just a comic cracking jokes. This was someone unafraid to pull back the curtain and shine a blinding spotlight on the secrets they wanted buried. Then came one of the boldest confrontations of all, the feud with Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer. If anyone doubted that Katt Williams didn't fear confrontation, this feud erased all doubt. Harvey and Cedric were massive household names, legends of the kings of comedy, successful sitcoms, talk shows, and countless stages. But Katt wasn't starstruck. To him, these icons represented a version of comedy that had gone off course, taking shortcuts, recycling jokes, and packaging an image that wasn't real. Katt didn't hold back in calling out Steve Harvey, claiming that he stole material, not just from him, but from other comedians like Mark Curry. He even alleged that Harvey exaggerated his personal struggles, twisting his own story of growing up tough to make his rise to fame sound more dramatic than it really was. In Katt's eyes, it wasn't just exaggeration, it was fraud, a way to manufacture credibility instead of earning it the right way. Fans online were split, but many echoed Katt's sentiments. One heated discussion thread repeated his accusations almost word for word, arguing that Harvey's career was built on other people's originality. And Katt's stance was unwavering. Comedy should be about honesty, authenticity, and telling the truth through laughter. To him, Harvey wasn't upholding that standard. He was selling a version of himself that was carefully crafted, polished, and disconnected from the real grind of comedy. The feud took an even more personal turn when Katt Williams claimed that both Steve Harvey and Cedric the Entertainer had already admitted privately to stealing material. Apologies that never saw the light of day. According to Katt, those private admissions didn't satisfy him because real accountability meant owning up publicly, and neither had done that. The tension escalated, especially with Cedric, who flat out denied the allegations. That denial reopened old wounds, making the feud hotter than ever and fueling more interviews, viral sound bites, and heated debates in comedy circles. Katt specifically called out Cedric for allegedly stealing one of his best bits, a joke that ended up in the 2000 film The Original Kings of Comedy. Cedric brushed it off, claiming that if Williams truly had a problem, he should have spoken up sooner. To Cedric, it was ancient history, a matter that wasn't worth dragging back into the spotlight. But Katt wasn't buying it. He doubled down repeatedly, insisting that this wasn't just about one joke. It was about integrity in comedy and respect among peers. In Williams' eyes, Harvey and Cedric were the embodiment of a bigger issue. Established figures thriving on other people's originality while positioning themselves as untouchable legends.
If you have real problems with people, and your problems are like serious, it's not hard to ever get to a person and really like address the problem correctly. The problems that people have with me, they aren't my problems.
It was a clear example of how Hollywood rewarded the polished, safe, and marketable faces while suppressing raw, authentic voices. Voices that weren't afraid to speak the truth. Katt saw the pattern everywhere. The system loved to protect its stars, elevate the compliant, and quietly erase anyone who dared challenge the status quo. Steve Harvey, meanwhile, stayed silent publicly. He refused to engage, a move many interpreted as him simply ignoring Katt to avoid giving him attention. Others, however, read deeper into the silence, suggesting that Harvey didn't want to reopen a controversy that could potentially tarnish his carefully curated brand. Some observers read Steve Harvey's silence as saying more than words ever could, a calculated move to avoid reopening a battle that could tarnish his carefully crafted brand. The feud between Katt Williams, Harvey, and Cedric the Entertainer quickly became one of the most talked about controversies in comedy circles. This wasn't just about stolen jokes or career clashes. It was about credibility, power, and legacy. Katt made it crystal clear that he wasn't stepping back, even if it meant taking on comedy royalty. In doing so, he positioned himself as the fearless outsider, willing to risk everything just to speak the truth. By the time the dust settled, his reputation as Hollywood's loudest whistleblower had only grown stronger. Whether fans agreed with every accusation or not, one thing was undeniable. Katt wasn't afraid to challenge the biggest legends, and that unpredictability made him a serious threat to anyone guarding their image in the comedy world. Katt Williams' reputation for speaking truth to power reached an entirely new level when his name became linked with Dave Chappelle. Both men had earned the label of outsiders, refusing to bow to Hollywood's demands or compromise their art for comfort or cash. But their relationship wasn't black and white. At times, Williams praised Chappelle as a hero, a fellow warrior in the battle against exploitation. At other times, he questioned whether Chappelle's most famous move, walking away from a $50 million Comedy Central deal in 2005, was truly as noble as the public believed. In a 2024 sit-down on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay podcast, Williams spoke candidly about Chappelle's choice. "I respect him for walking away from the money," he said, emphasizing that the pressures of Hollywood could crush even the strongest minds. To Williams, the decision to walk away wasn't just financial. It was a bold act of defiance, a statement that some things are worth more than a paycheck. He saw Chappelle's refusal to compromise as a show of real strength, proof that integrity could survive even in a cutthroat industry. But there was another layer to this story. In multiple interviews, Katt Williams hinted that Dave Chappelle's famous walkaway might not have been entirely his own decision. Williams suggested that outside forces, Hollywood power players and industry heavyweights, could have influenced the comedian's choice. According to him, the evidence pointed to subtle pressures, strategic nudges, and behind-the-scenes maneuvers designed to push Chappelle out if he refused to play by the industry's rules. To Williams, this raised a crucial question. Was Chappelle leaving to protect his personal integrity, or was he being pushed out because he refused to compromise? Fans went into overdrive debating it online, splitting into camps, some echoing Williams' suspicions, others defending Chappelle as a man who had courageously resisted the system on his own terms. The tension between the two reached a rare public moment in 2024 when Chappelle addressed the issue during a performance at the Hollywood Improv. Without naming Williams directly, he took aim at the criticism in a measured, pointed way. "I only ethered NS. I didn't say anything about any of these white boys," he said, making it clear that his concern wasn't minor feuds, but the bigger picture.
Nobody knows why liars lie. And that's why I had to come on the program. Cedric did the same thing. Cedric told you when you asked him, did you steal Katt Williams' joke? Yeah. He said, it don't line up.
"We're comedians. We don't attack each other," he added, emphasizing the importance of solidarity and unity over interpersonal rivalries. The exchange revealed just how complex their dynamic really was. Both Williams and Chappelle were vocal critics of Hollywood corruption, admired for their honesty, but their methods differed sharply. Williams believed in exposing individuals publicly, holding them accountable one by one. Chappelle, on the other hand, championed collective resistance, arguing that comedians should target the larger structures oppressing them instead of picking apart their peers. Yet, despite their differences, the substance of their critiques overlap significantly. Both challenge exploitation, dishonesty, and censorship within the entertainment industry, sending messages that the public could not ignore. Chappelle's 2021 Netflix special, The Closer, reignited debates about creative freedom and censorship, shining a spotlight on systemic issues in Hollywood. Meanwhile, Williams, through interviews and his Heaven on Earth comedy tour, continued sounding alarms about corruption, favoritism, and the silencing of authentic voices. Together, intentionally or not, they represented two sides of the same coin. One direct, confrontational, and fearless. The other subtle, strategic, and incisive. Fans have long speculated about just how much fear Katt Williams inspires in Hollywood, with countless fan theories insisting that the biggest names are terrified of what he might say if provoked. While it's never been officially confirmed, the signs are hard to ignore. One viral post even read, "Hollywood's biggest stars don't want smoke with Katt." And for good reason. Williams has already proven that no celebrity is too powerful or too untouchable to avoid his sharp, unfiltered scrutiny. Every interview, every stage rant, and every viral clip reminded the world that he doesn't play favorites and refuses to stay silent. But even as fans celebrated his fearless persona, tragedy cast a dark shadow over his journey. In August 2025, the comedy world was rocked when news broke that Reggie Carroll, a comedian associated with Williams' Heaven on Earth tour, had been fatally shot at the age of 52. Reports identified the suspect as Trinell Maris Williams, a security guard who had been working with Katt at the time. The shocking incident sent ripples through the tour and reignited intense discussions about the dangers and volatility surrounding Williams' career. Some fans argued it was a tragic reminder of how high the stakes could get for those close to him, while others noted that media coverage often seemed more interested in controversy than in mourning the loss itself. Despite the setbacks, grief, and public scrutiny, Katt Williams didn't retreat. He doubled down on his message with even more intensity, calling 2024 the age of truth, and insisting that fans needed to see past Hollywood's glittering facade to understand what really goes on behind the scenes. For his supporters, this cemented his role not just as a comedian, but as a whistleblower, a relentless force exposing corruption, dishonesty, and double standards in an industry built on image over authenticity. Today, Katt Williams occupies a rare and dangerous space in entertainment, loved by fans for his raw honesty and boldness, feared or outright hated by some of the industry's biggest celebrities. He commands attention wherever he goes. Whether it's fear, respect, or a mix of both, one thing is undeniable. When Katt Williams decides to speak your name, the world is listening. If you're ready for more deep dives into celebrity controversies, industry secrets, and the untold stories behind the biggest names, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to stay ahead of the drama.